Hi, Yazoo City. Welcome to an exciting segment today. I have been looking forward to doing this or bringing this to the platform, but our guest had some unforeseen circumstances and he wasn't able to make it. But today he's here and I am so excited to bring him to the platform. But before that, I want to just set up what we're going to be discussing today. And we're going to be talking about professional athletes. And Yazoo City has experience. We've had so many professional athletes coming out of Yazoo City. And I can tell from what I'm seeing happening at Yazoo City High School and the surrounding areas that we're producing world-class athletes. And sometimes our children are not prepared for what they're going to be facing when they meet or reach that pinnacle of success. Sometimes entire families are not prepared for what the life-changing circumstances that they will be facing when someone is suddenly wealthy professional basketball player or baseball player, whatever that may be. And even if you're a parent raising a top-tier athlete that will be pursued by universities, top-ranked universities. And those, even at that level, they're treated as celebrities. And a lot is coming their way that they're not emotionally prepared for. And even families are sometimes not emotionally prepared as families to deal with some of the drama and and things that happen in families and relationships when all of a sudden you're suddenly wealthy and the world is your oyster now, and it just impacts relationships in so many ways. And our young people being thrust into sudden fame and notoriety and wealth, how are they managing that at 20 years old and 19 years old? And we can see from current events, I'm just going to, before I bring our guest on, and of course, we know who our guest is, and he is Glen Collins. He's from Jackson, Mississippi. He's a well-known athlete. You read his bio, and he's coming to the platform, and I won't just go into all of that right now, but because we will when he comes on. But I just want to really look at the current events and why it's so important that we discuss this and bring this to the platform, and hoping that we'll be able to help you know, some examples of some good ones where Shaquille O'Neal, he had a solid mom. He came from a single parent home, and his mother impressed upon him the importance of education. And even though he chose to enter into the NBA draft to help his family, he came from a single parent home. His mom, I'm sure they were struggling financially, but she impressed upon him the importance of education. And Shaq apparently got that, because even though he signed up, he went into the the NBA, he did go back and get his degree. So that's an example of someone who totally got it and honored that, and had his priorities in alignment. And then we have other examples of bad decisions, and let's talk about the two-family home, because Shaq came from a single family home where people think, oh, he was at a disadvantage, but his mom got something right, because he did in the end make the right choice. He did go back. And then we can look at someone like Kobe Bryant, who had both parents at home, and the feud over his wealth has torn his family to threads. I mean, it's really sad to think that he left this earth with not even really resolving that issue with his parent. And it shows that how wealth can come in and destroy a family. And now that he's gone, his wife's mom is even, his wife is having an issue with her mom, where the wealth has divided the family. So we can see how not being prepared for this, or just how this type of wealth can come in and just tear families apart. You can use this as a cautionary tale. There are other examples of situations happening to athletes. With McNair, the situations where choices were made to live a certain lifestyle that can cost your life and the lives of other people. There is also the incident that happened with a classmate of ours, with Buster Barnett. Unfortunately, the same situation with McNair happened. Choices. When you're a professional football player, you're first class athlete, your limits you have no limits. You just have to have a moral compass to help you make better decisions. And parents, we can start that at home. Who you're surrounding your child with, who's your child's role model, who's your child looking up to? Is that person's life exemplifying what behavior you want your child to learn from that will have an impact in your child's life? And it's just so sad that some of our athletes have not been surrounded by that. And my hope is that this, bringing Glen Collins on, he's going to share some of his life journey, some of the choices that he's made, so that maybe you can steer your child in the right direction, where, they're gifted. But if you're gifted and you're not grounded in the right things, in the godly things, your decisions can lead you, even though your gifts are great. But if your gifts are not grounded in the giver, meaning the creator, and you're not navigating your gift through that conduit, you can end up like an Aaron Hernandez, who had it all, Super Bowl, but you're still dealing with the wrong people, dealing from the wrong operating system. And you can end up in just a world of trouble, with death. And before I bring Glen on, I want to bring one more person on whose life exemplified. And he basically had it. And Muhammad Ali said this: service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. And that coincide with Bible, because Jesus said the same thing. Jesus said, no greater love has no man than this, that he laid down his life for a friend. Yea, you are my friends if you do this. So he's saying that, you want to live your life for something bigger than you. And when you bring selfishness into the picture, and it's all about self, that's where I think a lot of people get caught up, ego and self, and people worshiping you and telling you you're the greatest and you're this and you're that. And you let that go to your head. You have no moral compass. You do things your way and no regards to anyone else. And I think I have so much respect for Colin Kaepernick now, because he basically piggybacked off of Muhammad Ali. Believe in something even if it means sacrificing everything. And that's believing in um, being an honest, decent person, giving back to your community, being in service to others, standing up for something greater than yourself. It's not about your pocketbooks always, but what am I doing for my community? My gifts are not just for me, for my personal gain, but to give back to my community. And I look at this movie, and you guys have to see this movie, Colin in Black and White, where this man, um, even though he could play all sports, he could play baseball, basketball, and quarterback, but quarterback wasn't coming after him like baseball. But he believed that his divine purpose was through being a quarterback, even though everything was pointing to him that he should go and be a baseball player, because he was getting all kind of offers to be a baseball player. But his God-given purpose was greater than what he was seeing. And everyone that he admired was telling him to play baseball. But he wanted to play football. He wanted to be a quarterback. He felt that was what he was destined to do. And once he got there, he was faced with having to make the decision to give that up for a greater purpose, which was fighting injustices, taking a knee against what he was seeing that was happening to his people. So he gave up something he had been fighting for his entire life for the purpose. And maybe his purpose was to get him to be there to do what he's done, which was to bring awareness to this particular cause of injustice. So I really encourage you to see this film. And I hope that you get the message that that I'm trying to bring to you today with our guest. So I brought all of these images on to really talk about Colin Kaepernick dedication, Muhammad Ali's dedication to something greater than themselves. And hopefully you will encourage your child and cultivate in them the same type of characteristics of someone like a Muhammad Ali or Colin Kaepernick, to know that their gifts are not just self-serving for themselves, but to give back to others. And I highly recommend that you see this film. And I highly recommend that you really consider the tales of Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, the choices, and you can learn from each one of them. And I'm hoping that you will also learn from the guests that I will be bringing. Hello, Glenn. Okay, we're having some technical difficulties. Let me refresh the screen and hopefully. Hello. Okay, we're having some technical difficulties here, so please bear with us.
Can you see me?
Can
you hear me?
I can hear you. There you are. So you're on the platform. Thank God. Okay, we're live, Glenn. And I don't know, did you hear all of the commentary I was giving?
I did. I heard all the commentary.
Okay. So I know that some parts of it you might be able to relate to. Kind of adjust your camera because I'm getting half of you.
Uh, if you got
I can see you now. Okay, now we're having problems with the sound. So whatever you need to do, let me see if I need to. I unmuted you. So unmute yourself if you're muted. So people, please bear with us because I don't know if it's Sunday and everyone have their internet running, but we are having some um, minor difficulties here.
can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. So
Okay.
welcome to the platform.
Well, hello, welcome. Glad to be on the platform. We finally
I'm
got.
I'm so excited to have you here today.
Yeah, I'm excited to do this for you. You know, it's a great opportunity to help some people, and especially dealing with something that I love so much, giving back to the community, and especially helping young people. You know, there's a lot of pitholes and pitfalls in that out there today that some have always been there, and there's a lot of new ones today. So
Oh yes,
it's a big
definitely.
challenge. It's a big challenge, especially if you got. My mom was a single parent. Can you hear me now? Okay. All right. Yeah. My mom was a single parent, 5 kids. And but she was kind of old school. It wasn't tough having 4 boys and 1 girl. And but with me being the oldest, in which I kind of was the one that that her and I butted heads a lot. Being she was 19 years old. As I think about it today, being 19 and trying to raise a young black boy in America is a difficult challenge. I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest. I have a sister who's 13 months behind me. Then I have another brother who is he's 4 years behind me, and then there's one who was 11 years behind me. One is 10. The youngest is deceased. Yeah, he's deceased. My baby brother. That's a whole nother story. Yeah. Can you got it? Okay. I think I can't see it on my end. Uh, yeah, I can't see it on my end. But no, I'm not able to see it. I don't know why I can't see it. That's on your end. That's on the host end, so I won't worry about that. But that's my mom. That's my mom. I'm the oldest. I have a sister behind me. Then I have 3 other siblings, one deceased. Which, like I said, that's a whole other story. But I'm kind of the one that she did all the practice on early. So uh, yeah, but eventually it paid off. It really did. Okay. I can hear you well. I can hear you well. I can't see the picture though. But I'm not worried about it. Long as the host can see it or the guest can see it. Um, that's probably. I think you got some of my pictures I don't have. Okay. Well, that's 79. That was my favorite number. Uh, yeah, I know the number. I know the number. That's my favorite number. Actually, that was after my favorite artist was me and Joe Green. Yeah. So he was my guy, and so I wore that number all the way through college. I always actually till I got to the pros, they changed numbers. But but that's the reason I actually have an authentic Joe Green autographed jersey at home. So yes, that was back in the day when you didn't have all these different divisions as you do today, and it was like that's the best of the best in the state. That picture. And actually, I didn't know I was really that good until my junior year in high school, because I just basically played football because I just love the game. Here, can you? Okay. Well, actually, my mom did not know I was playing football because my grandmother got me playing football. Yeah, my grandmother got me playing. Can you hear it? Okay. Hopefully, this thing will stay on. But anyway, my grandmother got me playing football in elementary school. And my mom never knew that I was playing football because I didn't stay with my mom. I actually stayed with my grandmother. So my mom had no idea that I was playing football until I was about in the eighth grade. And one of my coaches actually was one of her high school classmates. And he told her that I was playing football, and she was like, "No, Glenn don't." Can you hear me? Well, actually, my mom didn't know I was playing to the eighth grade. So we had made a deal that as long as I got the right grades, that it was okay to play. So that's how I got started. Yeah, yeah. When I was in the 10th grade, actually I was Jackson State first ball boy, and and I hung around Walter Payton and all those guys, and I just was I just was into football, but I never really considered it as being going to pro. I never thought about being a professional athlete until I was in about the 10th grade.
Oh, Glenn.
You
Let's.
got it? Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so football, sports was my getaway. I played football, I played basketball,
Mm-hmm.
I ran track, and I was in the band. I was even in the band.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I used activities to kind of get away from. And I think this took me away from home a lot of time of what was happening at home.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of knew when I was young I was going to leave home at an early age and not come back. Uh,
Right.
and just it's just I don't know what it was different about. My brother thinks some things are normal, and I think in the way I look at it, is a little bit different the way he looks at life,
Mm-hmm.
which is okay, which is okay. And
Well,
sometimes
I have
I
this
think,
picture up of you, Renee, Tim, and Trent's all in white. So I
yeah,
have this picture up.
yeah, we was over in Texas
Mm-hmm.
at Trent's birthday party,
Okay.
and sometimes I don't like that picture. I don't like to see that picture because we always missing one.
Yeah,
Miss my baby brother not being in that picture.
I know.
It was just 37 years old, to get murdered in Jackson, Mississippi, which is a lot, which is going on now. And people think it's just started to happen now. I mean, you just think about it. You just mentioned 1980 when I had a fiance got murdered. And turn
Mm-hmm.
around 10 years ago, I had a brother that got murdered. Just a couple of years ago, one of another girl I dated in college, she got murdered.
Wow, what
Here
is
in Jackson.
going on? Did they ever find Donald's murderer?
No, they never found him personally, but I know who did it though.
Oh my God, Glenn,
Yeah,
don't.
I
Well,
know who did it.
yeah,
But
well,
I mean, I let God take care of God's business.
right.
But I always used to tell Don about the streets. The streets have no love for nobody.
And that's what these parents need to understand.
And one of
Um,
my friends, his little 15-year-old son, just got killed. They say he accidentally shot himself,
oh my
but
gosh.
but they put him out the car and put him on the side of the street.
Wow.
So it's a lot going on right now. A lot
Hmm.
going on. A lot going on.
So we're talking about the dynamics of, a young mom, or like I gave two examples. I gave an example of Shaquille O'Neal's mom, who was raising him, she as a single parent, until she was fortunate to marry a man that took Shaquille on as his own son. He was in the military. I think he called him the general or the sergeant, that
Yeah,
Shaquille would call him. But he obviously loved him like a son. And she was fortunate to have a man that sold into her son like that, with him not being his biological child. And obviously made a good impact and raised Shaq to be a strong man, a man with character as much as possible. We all have flaws. No one is perfect. And then we look at Kobe Bryant's, who came from a two-family home all of his life, high achieving, you know, father was in the NFL, I mean, the NBA. His uncle, his mother's brother was in the NBA. By all accounts, was a well-to-do young man. He grew up better off than a lot of people coming from single parent homes, or people feeling obligated, like, oh, I got to make it for my family. I need to enter the NBA early because I've got to help my family. That, I don't think that was Kobe's situation, right?
it wasn't.
But when you look at the dynamic of these two, you would have thought Shaq would have ended up in the worst situation with making decisions, coming from a single parent home, with a mom for years. So what does that tell you? That does it take two parents or just the right parent?
I think it
One
takes the
good
right parent.
parent can change your life, right?
I think it takes the right parent.
The right parent,
I think
because
it's the right parent.
you got this family that that's had wealth. Why are you fighting? Why is that destroying your family and your relationship with your child? You know?
Well, I can tell you this, and I don't know. I think you met my stepfather.
Yes.
My stepfather and I did not have a good relationship at all. I mean, it was not at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so having the right man, even if you're a single parent, you've got boys, and you meet somebody,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's imperative that man take on not just only you, but take on your children as their own, and love them as if it's their own kids. And some cause my stepdad had 2 kids in the house, so my mom already had 3.
Mm-hmm.
And he primarily was only concerned about, well, I'm not going to say primarily, but I think he loved us in the best way he could.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I was just a different kind of child when it came to men. Uh,
Mm-hmm. Well,
and
first of all, you were big. You were you
yeah,
probably were
that's
bigger
true.
than the guys.
That's true. But I really had a love for my dad, my real
Mm-hmm.
dad.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what really hurt me was my dad didn't come around and want any part of me until I went pro.
Okay, see, that seemed to be the issue with a lot of certain type of men. And I'm trying to be delicate because this is a delicate topic,
It is a delicate topic.
and get in where you fit in. I'm going to say that because I'm never going to let telling the truth or insulting someone keep me from telling the truth, because I'm trying to do this in love. Hopefully that someone listening will learn from this. We'll learn from what you have to say and what you're sharing. The words that we overcome by the power of our testimony, and your testimony. And sometimes you go through things it's not really for you,
That's correct.
but it's for someone else to learn
It's
from.
most
But if
and it's
you're
based
so
for somebody else.
embarrassed to talk about it,
But it's based for somebody else.
exactly.
What I've learned through my journey through life is my great grandmother told me something when I was a kid. She told me I was a special child, and she
Mm-hmm.
told me that my great grandmother she loved me. Uh, Actually, I preferred to stay with her than my mom. But
Wow.
anyway, she told me when I was a kid, I was born for greatness. I would never
Mm.
forget that. And she was the one bought my first football uniform, took me to practice every day, came pick me up from practice. Before my mom even knew anything about it, I was playing football. She walked me to school every day. I mean, she put some stuff in me that was grounded and rooted. Not saying my mom didn't, but I just my grandmother was very important in my life at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess sometime when I mean she was stern, she was fair, she was truthful, she was honest. They think some of my family said she was crazy, but I don't think she was crazy. I think I know she, but some reason she loved the boys though. She
Mm-hmm.
didn't love the women, She just loved the boys. And I was
Mm-hmm.
the first boy. My uncle first, and then came me. And I probably stayed with her until I was in probably the 4th or 5th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So that early on is the most informative years of most kids' life, their early
Mm-hmm.
childhood upbringing. And I mean, man, I knew that lady loved me.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom was just different. My mom, I knew she loved me the way that she could love
The
me.
best way she could.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
worked hard. I mean, she was a provider.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was one of those kids. I like to be told that I'm loved. I like to be
Mm-hmm.
felt that I'm loved. Things didn't really excite me a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of one of those guys that want to be hugged. And
Right.
that man that I met at Mississippi State that I was telling you about,
Mm-hmm.
he would come hug me. I mean, it's a white man.
Right.
He would come hug me and tell me how much he loved me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all the time.
That's
And it
important. That's so
was
important.
very important,
Mm-hmm.
And then he would bring me to his house and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, talk to me as if I was his son.
Mm-hmm.
And when I had my struggles in life, when everybody else turned their back on me and talked
Mm-hmm.
about me and belittled me and put me down, I called that man, and he still never said a word about what I was going through.
Mm-hmm.
He always told me the right thing to do.
That's
And
right.
when I went and got my degree and I was going to go into coaching,
Mm-hmm.
he actually talked me out of going into coaching, which
Wow.
which I think was a God thing.
Mm-hmm.
He just told me these words. He said, "I think God got something else for you to do beside coaching."
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I got into mentoring. I got into going around the country speaking to kids, doing youth
Mm-hmm.
groups, doing programs, doing things I had no idea that I could do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he built me up.
Right.
And this man was kind of he was one of those people. He just would quietly go about doing his job. He didn't want no attention. He didn't want nobody to think he was something special. Even when he died, I wanted to come to his funeral. He did not have a funeral.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what kind of guy. He told his wife, "I do not want people sitting there looking at me and all over me and I'm dead." He said, "I don't want a funeral." He said, "Y'all have a memorial and put me in the ground."
Wow.
And she did his wishes. And I called her, and I'm close to his wife also, Miss Randall. I said, "Miss Randall, I want to come to Coach's funeral." And she was like, "Well, Glenn, you know how Craig was. Craig don't want no funeral, so I'm going to have to honor his wishes." And I looked and I said, "Miss Randall, that sounds just like the man he was."
Mm-hmm.
And he had a little bit small memorial, and they had a graveside service for him. But he was an
Wow.
honorable. Yeah, he was an honorable man. He treated his kids the same way he treated me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he treated everybody. You know if he liked you, and you would
Mm-hmm.
know if he didn't like you. He's just one of those kind of people. He didn't sugarcoat a whole lot. But now when I got out of line, he
Mm-hmm.
let me know I was out of line. And
Wow.
so he was just a different kind of man.
Well,
I
let's
mean,
talk.
go
Let's
ahead.
talk about and what you're saying is so important because people need to hear that
I think I'm
love
just
has no color. You
love has
know,
no color, but I really think young boys, young men need strong men with character.
for the so you hear
Yeah,
this, single moms. This is a pearl of wisdom here from
character.
someone who has come from a single parent home.
Yeah,
Um.
I mean character. I'm not talking about see the great potential of them because football gonna end one day.
Mm-hmm.
Football is a very short career. The average lifespan of a pro football player is only 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's the average. So you tell a young boy you may play football going in at 22, 23, before 25, most football players are retired.
Mm-hmm.
See, everybody see the Tom Brady. Tom Brady, there may not ever be another football player play as long as the Tom Brady. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a unique situation. But the average lifespan of a pro football player is 2.5 years.
Right.
So that's the career.
Mm-hmm.
You only got 3,500 players a year. So I didn't know I was going to be a pro football player.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell anybody is I wasn't prepared for pro football.
Right.
Um, I was going in with issues and struggling when I went in, and all football did was magnifying.
See, that's exactly. So this is why it's so important that we start. If your child, and just athletes in general, and this don't have to be athletes, but it could be just normal students, normal boys and girls in school. But
Correct.
we're looking at those who might have the opportunity to go to college on a scholarship, on a high performance scholarship, and then if they're fortunate enough, go into the NFL. What is already in there that is germinating that might become a problem for them later on, and how are you as a parent um impacting that? you know what can you do to try to work with your child now, early on, with vices that you see they have that might be potential issues later on, if it's drinking, if it's doing drugs, even marijuana. I know it's supposed to be legal in some states now, but one size don't fit all for everyone. It can impact people differently, and it can be more deadly for others, kids, than it is for
Correct.
the next person.
Well, the NFL has a zero tolerance policy. I can tell you that about marijuana. Any
Okay.
illicit drug is just zero tolerance. But now, if
Mm-hmm.
you can see, alcohol is not, and
Mm-hmm.
alcohol is a drug. I don't think we talk about it and emphasize it enough to our young people. Alcohol is really the first gateway drug before most of them even start smoking pot.
Yeah. So that's more of a gateway drug than marijuana, alcohol is.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Okay.
it's legal. You know,
Yeah.
it's legal, and for some of us in our communities, I mean, you know, look at our community. There's a liquor store on every other corner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and a lot of times, you know, our kids start drinking, but not even knowing they're drinking.
Mm-hmm.
I was 16 years old first time I had a drink.
Wow.
Yeah, first time my mom let me go to a party. You know, I was 16 years old, and I took my first drink, which I didn't like it the first time, but you know how that
Mm-hmm.
goes. You know, eventually,
Right.
eventually
Let's
you grow to like a lot of stuff.
so let's talk about two more things I want to talk about on this, and then we'll move on to the NFL, and your family dynamics and other things. But I want to talk about, like you were talking about your stepdad bringing into your life and the impact he had into your life. Um, how important that is for women to bring the right type of male in their life, not just thinking about what they're bringing in their bed, but how who they're bringing in their bed is impacting
Very,
their children.
very important.
And also peer pressure. Who is your child hanging out with? Who are their peers?
Absolutely.
Because they're going to be the ones that impact your child's life more than you ever will once they reach a certain age.
Well,
So let's talk about that, Glenn.
well, you know, back in when I was growing up, you know, they say it now is kind of a cliche. It takes a village. Well, actually, the village raised me because my
Mm-hmm.
mom worked a lot. Uh, and so, you know, on our street, you know, we had a bunch of lawyers and doctors, professors, and my best friend dad was a professor at Jackson State, Dr. Funches. His mom was a
Mm-hmm.
professor at Jackson State. So I had some good people around me that I can go to their house and morally, character-wise, I saw good people and good examples.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to know. I had a cousin who my mom didn't want me hanging with because she knew the kind of things that he did, and he was a star
Mm-hmm.
athlete. I don't want to call it a name, but my mom knew it was important to try to put the right people around me. She's always was concerned. You know that also, even dating, she
Right.
always, you know, she knows it. So she asks a lot of questions, and she wanted to get to know you. And because I guess you know she had a concern for me
Mm-hmm.
and her boys. But you need to know the people your kids are around
Mm-hmm.
because they sometimes have a bigger impact on them than you as a parent would have.
Wow.
Yeah, peer pressure is important is an important topic to talk about with your kid because I don't think kids understand what I did an experiment with a friend of mine. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but
Yes, we're not going to name any names unless
well,
they're already
well,
made public figures.
it was somebody I was mentoring, and they was about in the 7th, 8th grade at the time, and I was mentoring them for years, and I do these. What I do is I do role playing, and one of the things I did a role playing with is that I said you're gonna be with your friends. I said always remember these your friends now, the ones you like, they're important to you. I said, y'all gonna be in this little group, and all of a sudden somebody brings out a joint. I said, the joint started passing around the room, and it gets to you. What do you do? So when they was younger, they was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna do that, Mr. Carr. I'm just gonna pass it by. I'm just gonna pass it by." I said, "No, just think about it now. See, you're your friend. No, Mr. Carr, I'm gonna be strong. I'm gonna be strong." So this person got to high school. They're about 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So they start hanging out with some upperclassmen in high school. And this literally happened to them. And they got in a situation where some pot got pulled out, and the pot came around the room, and they found themselves smoking marijuana because it
Oh
was
my
given
gosh.
it. And what happened was their mom found out about it, and the mom freaked out. And so she called me, and I had to tell her, "Just calm down." I said, "By you trying to be abusive about it," I said, "it's gonna push them away even more." I said, "This is an educational point." So I
Mm-hmm.
brought them back to this. I said, "Now let's reverse this thing." I said, "You remember you was in 7th grade? We had this conversation." And they said, "Yeah, I do, Mr. Collins." I said, "What happened?" He said, "Exactly what you said was gonna happen." I said, so why did you do it? That was my friend. I didn't want to let him down. I said, even
Wow.
to the point of, that's how powerful peer pressure. Peer pressure is not overtly what's said. Sometimes it's a subtle things. And sometimes it's us educating our kids to what peer pressure looks like. And so that was a bad situation for this kid. Not only that, the mom, man, she lost it. She knocked the kid down, and
Oh
I had
my
to go over
gosh.
there. Oh yeah, cause she freaked out. You know what I'm saying? She freaked out, so I had to go help the.
Oh, I lost the sound.
All right, I'm back.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So I had to go get the kid, but that was a teachable moment for the kid. But now they went on to college, doing well, grades are good, and I think that experience though taught them a lot about people. But I also had to educate them that these are your friends, knowing how, this person was a straight A student.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, knowing your character and what you're doing and your background, what you're trying to do with your life, I said, well, your friends want to get you to smoke pot. And then not only that, they was trying to get them to buy pot from them. They was
Oh
selling
my
pot in
God.
school. Right in the school. There was a girl who was a big drug dealer in the school.
And this
So
is a thing too, Glenn. We're talking about peers and people in that you are allowing to have leadership roles over your children whose character is questionable themselves
yeah.
because they have moral issues that they are not really good examples themselves, and they could be your child's coach or your child's teachers, somebody that your kid is looking up to that have questionable behaviors themselves. Oftentimes you can find situations where there are inappropriate relationships between leadership positions and students in school, you know. So
It's
there,
funny. It's funny you say that. And
but
I'm gonna tell you,
this is happening a lot
but
in
let me tell you about an experience of mine I taught 2 years of high school at program, right?
Mhm.
So I was young. I was 26. I was 27 years old, 28. So I was just getting out of pro ball. So I was I kind of still looking athletic, and I was a
Mhm.
teacher. So there was a young girl that approached me one day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, a young girl that approached me and asked me, Mr. Collins, I want you to teach me everything about sex. Yeah, just like that. Just like that. So first of all, I just looked at her, excuse me. Number one, I said, I'm your teacher. And that's very
Exactly.
inappropriate.
Mhm.
I said, if you say something to me like that again, I would turn you into the principal.
Good.
So I had another friend over there who was working in the school at the time. So I didn't know that she said, so I guess your best friend is good enough for my friend, but I'm not good enough for you.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah. So it is so much stuff goes on in the
Yes, a
school.
lot of
So
temptation out there.
as a parent,
Mhm.
I have 3 kids. I have 3 kids, and I'm a hands-on parent.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of schools, when I first started showing up at school, they're not used to men coming to school. They used to talk to mom, and I've had to
Mhm.
sit there literally and me and some teachers. I said, "Ma'am, I am sitting here." She's like, "Oh, I didn't know you was. I didn't know you was going to be part of this conversation." I said, "Well, I'm here, am I?"
Right.
But they are more interested in dealing with moms because they deal with moms more so.
Mhm.
But I think for men, if you're part of the household environment, it's important for you to be involved. I think even the mom, make sure you involved with the school. It's a lot. I had a friend of mine that works in Yazoo City
Mhm.
who actually got in trouble in Yazoo City with a young girl.
Mhm. Right.
So now it's just you got to be and not on the girls now,
Right.
boys also. We just
Exactly.
had
Parents, I
we
hope
had
you're listening.
we
Be
had a
aware.
we had a male teacher here who all they did was move them. That there was a video was going around of him with another young boy in school.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's we live in
It's a lot out there. It's a
we live in
minefield.
a different environment in a different
Hmm.
time. Uh, this is not a time to be an absent parent.
And
I mean,
exactly.
if you got
And
young, impressionable kids in school, I'm talking about from kindergarten to high school,
yes,
be there, be
be
there.
there.
Get to know their teacher,
Hmm.
get to talk to them personally. Uh, Let them know that your kid is the most important thing in their life to you.
Hmm.
And if anything needs to go on, make yourself available, always available.
Hmm.
Uh, I know for me, I'm always at my kid's school. I mean, matter of fact, I took my daughter to school until she could start driving.
Hmm.
And then she got in trouble. The car was the first thing to get grounded, and I didn't mind taking her back to school.
Hmm.
So, but I think as a parent, you got to be involved today. We live in a different climate today. I don't care whether you're in sports, whether you're just a normal working person.
Hmm.
This is a different climate. It's a different world. People are different. Uh, you think you know somebody today, you don't know. You look around and these kids live on social media. There's so much information out here.
Right.
I'm not tech savvy. My daughter is tech savvy. She's at Texas A&M to be an engineer. But I can tell you right now, it is. I mean, matter of fact, I shut her Facebook page down when she was probably in ninth grade. Well, it had this thing was, see who can get the most friends.
Hmm.
So she had like ninth, 10th grade. She had 3,000 friends. I said, you don't
Oh
get
my
3,000 friends.
gosh.
So what they do is they just start liking this and liking this and liking this.
Hmm.
So one day, an inappropriate picture popped up. And I asked her, I said, who is this person sending you this picture? She said, what's that, Daddy? I said, I know what it is.
Oh my
And it was
gosh.
very sexual, inappropriate. She said, I don't know them, Daddy. I said, well, what one of your friends know them? So
Hmm.
she had a younger friend who was a little bit promiscuous, would
Hmm.
come over my house and get on our social network and put
Wow.
herself out there like that. So I grounded her from even getting on my computers at my home. So check their social media accounts. Uh, a lot of this drive-by shootings and all this, and it's boyfriend, girlfriend, and stuff that's going on. And these little boys today is a lot of them are emotionally immature and emotionally ill. And now with the availability of firearms, statistics says that if a kid needs to find a firearm, it takes them 5 minutes to find one.
Wow.
If he in school, it takes him 5 minutes to find a gun, which says that it's somewhere on campus.
Hmm.
So when I got to doing mentoring and getting in and working with young kids and working with youth, I really believe God, the stuff I went through in my life was for a time like this. Uh, Times are different, people are different. Our young kids, they are smarter than we ever think they are. Uh, they want discipline. They want people. They want genuine people. And in order for them to be genuine, that means for us as adults, we got to be genuine. They watch us.
Hmm.
Uh, they're sitting there watching every move we make, everything we
Hmm.
say. When you think they're not looking, I remember. I'm gonna tell you something happened to me. My mom slapped me one time when I was a kid,
Wow.
and well, she asked me.
Mhm.
I told her a lie. She asked me, "Where did I learn how to lie from?" And I looked at her and I said, "You." And she said, "What?" She said, "What?" I did. You know how I was. I was just a
Uh,
little smart. I said, "You." She said, "How you figure?" I said, "When them folks be calling the house for your ask for you for pay a bill, you tell them that you're not in." So right there was my first experience saying, "God,
uh-huh.
I learned how to lie." Even though
Exactly.
she didn't want to talk to them people about she didn't have the money to pay them. But
Hmm.
as a young kid, I said it was a lie. So she slapped me, for saying what I said. But it wasn't. But wasn't it the truth? It
Right.
was the truth. So we as adults have to be very mindful
Hmm.
ourselves of the example we're setting for our kids, and not just our kids. My daughter my wife only have one child at the house. My daughter,
Hmm.
my other kids are older and by my ex-wife. But she brought so many people around my house. So and all of them was girls, little young girls. Some of them had two parents, some of them had no dads. So I found myself being a dad to a lot of young people. And I ran into some yesterday at Jack State game. They run up to you and they hug you. But I try to set a good example by them. When they always, cause my daughter was into dancing, she was in all kind of activities and stuff. And so us also who have kids that are around other kids, I think it's our responsibility for those single parents that when their kids come to our house, that we set the right example for them also. Because a lot of times they're looking for examples. And you never know, you may be the very one to reach that kid when nobody else can. Like the man who reached me when nobody else could, but he did. And it's important for us to kind of check ourselves as adults and make sure we're putting out the right example. Kids are not watching what we say. They are watching what we do. And a lot of stuff that young kids pick up is because they have seen some adult. It's like my friend I was telling you about whose son got killed at 15, right? And one of my things was with him, he has a problem. The dad was having a problem. The dad was having a problem. And so one of my things with him was, I said, man, the best example you can get something done for yourself. So he wanted to put the kid away into these mental institutions for drinking and drugging and all that. But first thing the kid would tell him, well, when you gonna do something about yourself?
Wow.
Yeah. So that's, and now at 15, the dad is left here grieving. He's one of my friends, and I check on him out. He's left here grieving. But now you got to look at what could I have done different. And I think the best example he could have done different, maybe he had done something by himself. His kid would have had an incentive, maybe, seen an example in his dad, because he loved his dad. His dad was the only one who would go get the mom left it. The mom told the dad, you take it. I can't do
That's so sad. Yeah.
Yeah, but now the kid, 15 years old, he's dead. And the dad is now the dad is trying to do something for himself. But
it took a tragedy.
But the kid won't bring the kid back.
Exactly.
So that's it is so important, and especially us as African Americans right now. Our communities, man. I mean, we have got to do something for those of us who are qualified, and I believe everybody's qualified.
Yes.
I believe we all got to stand up and step up, even in spite of those who's going, the naysayers that they call them. You're going to always have the naysayers. But until everybody wants to quit sitting on the background and say, well, it's not my problem, trust me, it can become your problem very quickly.
Well, that's what Emmett Till's mother said. That was something famous that I heard Mamie Till said when she moved from Mississippi to get away from racism, from all of that. But yet she was still sending her son down south.
Yeah.
So she said, I thought, I was changing my life. That wasn't my problem anymore because I didn't live there.
Well, I can tell you now, the Black community, if there's ever been a time, is a disconnectedness right now. Our young people, man, they're violent. They're very more violent. I don't think you know what the violence is about, though. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
The violence is about they're angry. They're just angry.
Right.
You got kids who are angry and don't have outlets. They don't know who to turn to. They got issues they want to talk about, but they don't want to know who to talk about because, I tell you something, you're going to tell everybody else. And they fear for being found out, that they're a little broken. Man, we're all born broken.
Exactly.
And sometimes I think as parents, the best thing, my kids know my story. I hadn't tried to make my kids think, I hadn't drank in 35 years, but my kids know I got sober at 27 years old. And the reason I got sober, I told my kids my story. I didn't try to hide anything from them because my kids had never seen me drink their whole life. So I didn't want to act as if all of a sudden I'm holding them down. But I wanted my kids to know my shortcomings. I want them to know my downfalls. But I want them to know too that if you ever find yourself in a struggle, there's help available. But I
Yes.
want to be the one you can come to
Mm-hmm.
talk to
Mm-hmm.
about whatever it is you're going through. I don't care what it is. I'm the first. I want to be the first one you come to,
Mm-hmm.
because I want to make sure I give you the right answers for the
Right.
right reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I like what you're saying to me or not,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna put you down, but I'm gonna love you up. And I think that's what our kids right now need more than
They
anything.
do. And I want to commend you for your sobriety, because it's been how many years?
35.
Praise God. I'm
Yeah.
so proud of you. I am so
Yeah.
incredibly proud of you. Um, I like I said, I was on a part of the journey with you, the golden years. I want to call that the golden era of your journey, of seeing
Yeah.
someone's dream manifest right before my eyes. Um, you had the experience that most Black children want to have for their families, to be able to take them out of poverty, to do something, with your God-given talent. And I think about the burden of that, though. Sometimes it, like in the Kobe case, it just goes so far and it goes on and given to the point where it just break a family down. But I saw your journey from getting drafted in the NFL, um, going with your mom to buy the house, going
Yeah.
shopping with her, the excitement of that for her, that you purchased a house for your mom, to see you elevate like that and the whole family. I don't know to what extent that helped damage your family, you know?
I
Um,
think not understanding money.
mm-hmm,
Uh, I think the average Black family don't understand money and money management.
mm-hmm,
Uh, I think we think that all of a sudden we rich, but we don't understand how far $100,000 really goes. In this
mm-hmm.
day, $100,000 goes very little, very very little to do anything. And I think for me personally, um, one of the reasons I did a lot of the stuff that I did for my mom, because I always felt when I was coming up, my mom didn't love me. And I wanted to prove to her that how much I really loved her.
Wow.
But I think in some ways it was good. In a
Mm-hmm,
lot of ways it wasn't good.
mm-hmm,
Because when it came to time when I became just say a normal citizen, and I couldn't do it no more. Uh,
mm-hmm.
there was some words said that was very harmful. Uh,
Wow.
People didn't, when you got to tell your mom no for the first time, like, Mom, no, I can't do that. Then I started having kids of my own.
Mm-hmm,
Now, I got to start thinking about not only my kids, but now I got a wife to talk to.
mm-hmm.
See, I get Kobe. I get Kobe try to break away and become one with his wife. That's a whole journey in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got mom and dad now who've been with you, through this whole little Kobe and little kid, and took you to all these games and brought you up here. You go out here in the world and you meet some girl you don't know, and all of a sudden she becomes to be the idol figure in your eye, bigger than us. They don't understand that.
But
But
that's Bible. A man
but
should
that's
leave his
biblical.
mother and father and cleave to
That's
his wife.
that's biblical. That's
Yes.
biblical. Uh, but in
And
the
then,
black
Glenn,
and
let's talk about the fact that Kobe had already bought his parents several homes.
that don't make any difference. It's just the idea that somebody else can have more meaningful relationship with you than we do.
Wow.
When I'm the one who had you, conceived
Mm-hmm.
you, who, as a lot of them say, when I'm the one wipe your when
Mm-hmm.
nobody else did, and I'm the one did this, and you just meet some, they probably said some floozy. All of a sudden you in love, but I mean, she became his wife.
But
And
let's talk about this. Parents that feel ownership of that success. They felt ownership of his success.
my mom did.
And I'm thinking with that, especially with, like I said, single Black moms raising kids.
Yeah,
Oh, my
yeah, too.
son's going to be the next Michael Jordan, or the next uh, um, Gentle Ben from Mississippi or the next whatever. This mom's been waiting. Your son gets out and he buys you a house, give you a car.
But see,
You
my
don't have
mom
to.
didn't
That
know
should
that.
be it. That should be enough. I should not have any
But
more.
my mom didn't know that. My mom, I had me going to pro football was something that it was a dream. It was a secret dream of mine. Nobody else knew I had. I never knew that. I don't know why I kept it a secret because I prayed about it all the time. But I don't know if I didn't think I had the ability to do it. But I did, and me becoming to be the Glen Collins that I became to be was I had no idea I was going to be that guy. I really didn't. It just kind of it was my junior year at Mississippi State. I had an agent come through and told me, he said, you know, you're going to be one of the top 10 players of the country next year. And I'm sitting there like, an agent from California at that. And I said,
was that
really?
the one you signed with? Was that
Yeah.
the one I met?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Well, he told me, he said, you're going to be one of the top 10 players in the country next year. I said, wow. He said, do you want to come to California visit? The first time I ever been to California when he took me to California. So out of the blue, they would get statistics on me that I had no idea that I was even in that category.
Wow.
Yeah. So my senior year, I didn't even know I was going to have the senior year I had. I had an outstanding senior year, and I was the number 10 player in the whole country. So, I had no idea that that was going to manifest like it
Now,
did.
let me ask you this. You were out of the entire country. Was that the Kodak All-American?
Yeah.
With Marcus Allen? And who else was in that class? Marcus Allen?
Marcus Allen, Herschel Walker, Jim McMahon. You had Dan Marino. This guy named Kenneth Sims. You had so many guys. You had probably about 5 or 6 Hall of Famers that's in that group.
I would show the picture. I have it, but I'm scared I might lose it.
Yeah, don't show that
Okay.
picture. But anyway, I was.
You guys can go on the page and see all the pictures of Glen Collins that we're talking about. I'll upload all the pictures so we don't lose the conversation.
But I'm blessed. I was blessed to be able to do that. But I think God just used my football career. The things that happened to me is for a time and place of where we are in the world today.
I agree.
I just think this is so unique. I've been through homicide. I know what it feels like, pain to have a loved one murdered. I know the grief. I watched my mom literally go through grieve herself to the condition she's in today of my brother getting murdered. I had a fiance got murdered that for 6 or 7 years inwardly just sucked the life out of me.
Right.
Where I drank over it. I smoked dope over it. And I didn't let nobody even know I had those pain. So the trauma that I think that we as a nation, especially we as a Black community, man, we have so much trauma in our community right now, and our kids are feeling the effect of it. Just look around, man. Just every time, like here in Jackson, we up to 131, 132 homicides. We already surpassed last year, and it's steady going up. It's steady going up. So it's just so much stuff that we as a group gonna have to do, and there's so many things that we as parents gonna have to do. But it's a conversation that we need to keep going.
Yes, definitely. And that's one of the reasons I just thought your testimony would be so vital for this platform, for my hometown and surrounding areas, because Yazoo City have produced a lot of young professional football players. Some of them are going to be faced with some choices, and we just want to make sure they're going to be equipped to not make the kind of choices that's going to put them in the headlines or take their lives. We've been blessed to have some good examples. One of the examples that we've had, I'm going to lose you for a minute, but I got to put this picture up, so I need you to come back in. I'm going to see if I can find the other one. Hold on one second. I want to talk about. Okay, can you come back in now? He's getting situated, y'all. I lost him, but he's going to come back in. And we're going to
You
continue.
got it?
Yes. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. But this, we're going to talk about, someone like a Willie Brown, who was a shining example for Yazoo City. I'd never heard anything about Willie Brown's personal life being out of order. Willie Brown and I would talk whenever the Raiders would play a home game. They would stay overnight at the hotel I worked at the Hyatt. I was a concierge there, and I worked in PBX and all of that. And he and Terry Robisky, who was another coach with Willie at the time with the Raiders, they would come and sit down and talk to me. And it was always so great to have someone from Yazoo City, there. It just felt at home. But I have to say that I never heard anything negative about him. And he was a giver. He always made himself accessible to the community,
Yeah.
So I know that you have been around him. Can you talk a little bit about your interactions with him?
Can you still see me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can see you and hear you well.
Man, Willie Brown was, I used to do these sports camps, and Willie Brown, I know one year it just came up in my heart just to invite him, having no idea that he would come. And so he came. I think we had maybe 150 kids. And he was like, that was the first time really being back in Mississippi in decades. And so he came down and did my sports camp. And to be around him for those 3 days was just, it was just raw, because when I grew up, I was an Oakland Raiders fan. And I watched him play as a kid. And so he came in, the kids just, man, fell in love with him. But he was so excited. But one of the things he brought out was how much talent that Mississippi had. He said, man, I forgot how much talent. These were young kids.
Right.
And he said, matter of fact, Fred Smoot was in that group, one of the guys in that group who went on to play with the Washington Redskins. So we had a bunch of guys in that group that he influenced. And he's a class act, man. He's just one of those guys too, man, that, everybody don't go through issues. Some of them keep their act together. You got a lot of guys keep their act together.
Right.
But for those of us who sometimes don't, there's a lot of examples of those who may have gotten off the wrong track, but then got back on the right track.
Right. And that's important. I mean, like I said, there are a lot of derailing that can happen, but you find yourself back on the right track, and giving back to the community. In when you're immature and you've not had the right role models around you, what you're looking at as your role model is Hip Hop Nation and buying the bling bling and the cars and the this and the that, and I made it, look at me,
Well, now don't be talking about the bling bling. Now I got a little,
I'm saying, okay, there's nothing wrong with the bling bling, and it being appropriate. But sometimes you got to take that off.
There's nothing wrong with wearing the bling as long as the bling don't wear you. There's a difference.
There you go.
There's a difference.
There you go. But unfortunately, for some young people, it defines who they are.
It does. It really does. And we have to teach kids what is substance and value, what is sustainable. I have a lot, me, back even you knew me, I wore a lot of jewelry. And that's half of that stuff, I don't even know where it is, and half of my Donald, my brother Donald, stole half of it. But anyway, it's just sometimes we look around and we see what this brings to other people, and we don't know that sometimes there's a hollowness inside of them. The reason they wear that outwardly, because they're looking for something inwardly.
Right.
And what we need to fill our kids up with is things that character, morals, virtue, honesty, purity, love, compassion. We don't talk about those words to our kids a lot. Humility, how to be humble.
Right.
What is being humble? Humble is not being weak. Most young boys, especially in the Black community, think, nice guys finish last. That's all I ever heard when I was coming up. you don't want to be last. Don't be a sucker and all this kind of stuff. So they grow up with a lot of, they don't know what's truth, what's factual, and what is a myth. And so what's vital is that we pour into our kids what we want them to have. And I'm grateful that I met some men later on when I got 27. The greatest thing happened to me, and I don't tell people this, was everything I went through. When I got addicted to alcohol, when I met these men who helped build me back up from ground zero, when I lost all my money, when I had to go back to school and get my degree, when I found that I was a really smart student, I went back to Mississippi State and came out with 3.45, and they were looking at me like, "What happened to you?" My values changed. I changed. I wanted to do something different. I don't want to be just known as a good football player. I mean, even though I'm in Hall of Fame and stuff like that, Mississippi State, SEC Hall of Fame, that's fine and wonderful. But something you said earlier, I meet a lot of young kids that I didn't know that I was doing something to them when I was putting something in them.
Right.
And I found that to be one of the great, I got kids that's coaching at Jackson State at the time. I got kids in the pros. I got kids that just got a regular job. But they always go, I did a camp. The camp was more than just a game, but I took that football camp. And actually, the camp I did it wasn't even really it was the Walter Payton football camp that Walter got away from doing because Walter passed.
Right.
And I went to Pepsi and I said, look, I want to put that Walter Payton camp back together, but I'm going to do it up under a different name. And Pepsi joined me in the endeavor, put up the proceeds, put up the money. I said, I don't want the kids to have to pay for nothing because I don't want a parent to say, well, I ain't got the money. Well, it's free.
Good.
Send the kids.
I think that's great because a lot of people are hustling off of these camps. They'll have a name and maybe help a friend out and let them run that to make some money, and I think it should be free. I don't think.
Well, as a pro athlete, we can make it free.
Exactly.
Kids shouldn't have to pay. The only thing a kid had to bring, I had PepsiCo, I had Popeye's chicken, I had Domino's pizza. I raised 25. I wrote a little grant for $25,000. I paid that. Matter of fact, I even paid the coaches a little money to get them to come.
Right.
To work with kids, like Willie Brown, I made for him. I said, just tell me you come. I'll buy your flight back because I know
that's an incentive. You should do that.
He's a valuable guy though. So I made it good for the coaches to come, but I wanted more about the kids.
Right.
So the kids came, they had a good time, it was free, they met great people. It was just an awesome experience. And what my life has been about for the last 35 years is making a difference. I want to make a difference. I know what the little black kid feel like coming from the neighborhood without a dad at home. Got a mom who's at home struggling. There's a lot of anger in the household. She's trying to feed some kids. She didn't got herself behind the 8 ball now. As per se, we said, she got some kids, and all of a sudden, don't have a real man that want to be there with her.
Right.
She got a piece of a man. Just said she got a man.
Exactly.
I know what that feels like. And I tell a lot of women that I'd rather for you not to have a man than to have one in there that's mistreating your kids. It's very, very, very vital.
Amen. Amen. And there are girls that will settle, Glenn, because they are young, 20, 25, 19 with kids.
I get it. They need
still be that teenager.
They need help. They're looking for help. They need, they got a deadbeat dude who ain't got a job, who's sitting over there. He hustling somebody, who hustling somebody. Everybody hustling somebody. And in between all the hustling, the kid's suffering. I know what that feels like. We don't have the grandparents like we had when I was coming up. Nowadays, grandparents 34, 35.
Yes, that's true.
Grandparents in the club turning up now. They ain't got time to be at home keeping no kids and raising no kids. My grandparents, the only thing I know my grandparents did, they went to church. That's the
Mm-hmm.
only place they went to work and church and home. It was all about the
Right.
kids. We don't have that connectedness like we used to have.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a sense of community that we have lost. And now
Yes.
with politics figuring into everything and all the politicians looking at the pot of gold that's coming down from Washington, D.C., and all they think about is getting in and suck the money out of the community, and the community is down on the vine. We don't know who we go and vote for people that don't have character.
Yep.
And we are all going to suffer.
Picking popularity over character.
There's an
Popularity over
overhaul.
character.
There's an overhauling we have to do in the Black community. There's some things we got to get back to basics. We need to get back to trying to have ownership in our community. We don't own anything anymore. We don't own the stores no more. When I come up, the Black community, we own everything in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, all the Indians own everything. I'm not saying they don't provide a need that we have, but that's why we get treated the way we get treated by them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just some things that we got to talk about. We need to have a real talk about it.
But it starts in the home.
Oh, everything starts in
A
the home.
community is just a connection or connecting homes.
It's just an extension. A community is just an extension of the home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, that's all the community is nowadays, you know, but
Yeah.
with the community being what it is today, when I was talking about my community, where I had doctors, I had lawyers,
Mm-hmm.
I had all these role models, they don't stay in the Black community no more. When those people get to be those kind of people these days, they move.
They leave. Yeah.
They leave. So what's left in the Black community is most of the time they feeding off each other,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody is trying to get out.
And yeah, like
And
or if you see someone trying to get out, they won't let you. They tear you down. You're trying to bring something innovative and new way of thinking.
it's a
Because if
different
you
world.
keep operating from the same mindset, you're going to get the same results in the
Yep,
community.
doing the same thing, doing
So
the
it's
same
time
thing.
to
Insanity.
refresh, to come up with some new concepts, some new ideas, and get some knowledge and learn something different. Be
Well,
open to something different.
well, not also is our educational system. We have got to
Uh-huh.
get back and now with people talking about race with this race critical thinking and all that kind of
Critical
stuff.
race theory is
Critical
basically
race theory
telling
and
the truth about history.
yeah, but you know, history gonna be distorted no matter who teaches it. You know that. But we as parents, nowadays, there's no reason you can't know history. With all this media we got
Mm-hmm.
access to the whole world at our hands.
That's true.
We need to make our kids read for themselves, research, learn how to read. One thing I learned about when I was dealing with kids in 8th grade, 9th grade, and 10th grade, the reason they was acting out, most of them couldn't read.
Mm-hmm.
Most of those young kids couldn't read. What I mean read was they knew words, but they don't know how to critically think.
Mm-hmm.
Our kids don't know how to critically think. When we was in school, people had us doing critical thinking stuff.
Mm-hmm.
See, they took all that stuff out of school. Nowadays,
Right.
it's all about taking a test to make sure the school system get funded.
Mm-hmm.
But jobs. And our kids are sitting there, unless you want that, like, I'm just blessed to have some kids that excel in education, who like education,
Mm-hmm.
who know who's going to do good no matter what. But what about that parent who got a child who is not a student, it's kind of an average student who really don't like school?
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays, you know, the schools are not going to push them as like they used to push us. So we have got to be involved in every area of development for our kids that's out here.
Well, I wanted you to come on today to really share your testimony, and really to help and enlighten young mothers that was in the similar situation as your mom when you were this up and coming athlete, star athlete, to try and maybe give a revelation to some of the pitfalls that your mom might have fallen into. And you went over how her relationship impacted you with how you felt treated, her choice in a mate, for a husband impact your life as well, moms? That's something that you definitely want to look at, especially if it's someone that's not your child's biological father coming in, being a male over your child, allowing them to have authority in the household over your child. It must be somebody that love your child, first of all. So, I mean, for me, if I were to remarry or something happened with my husband, I don't think I probably would have somebody else over my child. It's just different when it's it's just different.
Your kid too old to have somebody else.
I'm just saying, if it was, I probably wouldn't, because you're not the first person that I've heard say something like this.
Yeah.
About, and I think that seemed to be a running theme with especially another man coming over, lording over another man's son.
Oh yeah, it's vital.
And you definitely need to watch your daughters too, and make sure that that's somebody with some moral standards, and they're not abusive, mentally, sexually, pedophile, any of that stuff. You've got to be so careful, women. And if you're involved with men who are under the influence of drugs and alcohol, you're endangering your child.
Yeah. Period. Not only endanger your child, you endanger yourself.
Yourself and definitely. Yeah. So that is something you definitely want to look at. And in raising a child that have potential or have been projected to be going into the NFL one day or bound that way, and you're banking on that for your out of your conditions. How do you feel about that, Glenn? That they would be banking on you to bring the whole family out. How does that make you feel?
I did it because I wanted to.
But was that pressure for you to have that you to feel like you're that?
I don't think in the beginning it is pressure, but the sustainability of it gets to be pressurous.
Mm-hmm.
With every time a financial need comes up, when you've been the provider, all of a sudden, the phone calls are to you, or the check go through your account you don't know about. You find out about when you go to your checkbook, that so-and-so done wrote this check, then wrote this check, then wrote this check.
Wow.
When your account be almost as if it's an ATM for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's not like that. I think today there's so many different avenues that moms can go out there that can find some resources, some research.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many cases where people can help you handle these situations because every family is different.
Right.
Every mom is going to be different. Every child, I know some kids, man. I got a friend who became a Hall of Famer, never came home and did one thing for his family.
Wow.
Disconnected, didn't want nothing to do with it. To this day, don't want nothing to do with it. So every child is different. You can't say who would do what and who won't do what. That very child you banking on until he get away, he may not never come back home again. And all of a sudden, everybody gonna be mad.
Wow.
So it's just one of those things that I would never put my life on my kids. Because biblically speaking, is I'm supposed to lay up for the kids, not the kids lay up for me.
Right.
I mean, that's where it's supposed to be. It's my responsibility to leave some security for my kids. If I'm not having an insurance policy, if something happened to me, I don't leave a burden for them, any of that kind of stuff. So I think it's some things, but now with the sports world, so much money, it's so huge.
Okay, of course, because now they're allowing the athlete, the student athlete, to make money off of his likeness now, which they didn't allow before.
It's a problem.
So what's the new minefield for this for parents? That my son now, colleges are coming after my son, right? What do I need to look at as a parent? Huh?
They don't know how to handle it yet.
So what should a parent do whose child is being pursued by several top universities? What is the main thing that you would recommend for this parent to consider when helping their child decide which institution to go to?
I think the parent need to stay out of that.
But no, this is an 18-year-old, 16, 17-year-old.
The 18-year-old gonna be at school 4 years. He's gonna be, first of all, he needs to like where he's going. I don't care.
Okay, that's number one. He needs to like where he's going.
That's it. Period. It needs to be his decision.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what everybody, because if he don't like it, he gonna keep jumping around. And what happens is once you keep transferring one school to another school to another school, and even if you got professional potential, they say you're unstable.
Right.
So then you start getting labeled,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that, your stocks start dropping.
Now let me ask you this: what is the most important thing that a student should select a school for in the long run, for the end game? After the athlete, what is the most important thing that's going to help them even after the career is over?
Make sure you get a degree in something you can use.
Mm-hmm.
Do not let them put you into uh, fitness management
Why would
or
they do that anyway?
to keep you eligible.
Oh, they
Yeah,
so they lowball you, want you to do the lowball things that you can pass.
as long as you stay eligible. That's right.
Oh,
As long as you
wow.
stay eligible. So they put you in these degrees that has no future in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got several friends that got degrees and either some other management type deal they created that they did for. See, one while that when I went to school, it was called PE, which you
Mm-hmm.
can become a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they changed that curriculum. They put that up on the Department of Education. So now you had to get an educational degree, and it knocked out 70% of black athletes.
Wow.
Yeah, so they knocked us out from the. There's no such thing as a PE degree no more. Now you got to get an educate. When I went back, they had revamped the whole curriculum. I had to become an educator.
Wow.
And then you got to pass the national teachers exam. You got to pass all this stuff before you even allowed to even finish the course. So I had to do all of that before I got out. If you couldn't pass the national teachers exam, you had to change your major. So
Wow.
that affected 70% of black athletes.
So
But so
do
many
not.
things, yeah, so many things change on the education component when it comes to us. The main thing they want you to do in college, if you're a top athlete, is keep you eligible.
Hmm.
Because if you're not eligible, you cannot play, or you got to go to some other. Now you can go down to a school like Jackson
Mm-hmm.
State is considered to be a school down. Now you can go down to Jackson State and play, but you can't play the Mississippi State, the Ole Miss, the LSU's, all those places because you are academically ineligible.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so much information out there. Matter of fact, high school athletes really need their own guidance counselor
Mm-hmm.
because you got to go through the NCAA clearinghouse nowadays. And see, there's a whole different clearinghouse. You got to have a certain amount of courses you got to be taking,
Mm-hmm.
or either you can't stay eligible or you can't get in. That's why you see a lot of kids go to junior college
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of them go there to get the grades up now. So there's so many different things that have changed about being an athlete on a Division I level. That's Division I. Everybody trying to go to Division I.
Mm-hmm.
Or either you see a kid go and he sits out his freshman year because a lot of times academically he's not ready. He can't get on the field academically.
So is that what do they call players when our special guest was going to come on today, but he was not able to jump on. He had an emergency, but I don't want you to name who he is, but we know who he is. So he's going to come on another time. But I wanted him on to be able to ask you certain questions, but unfortunately he lost a friend today, and my thoughts are with him and prayers are with him. But
We'll do this. We're gonna do this again because
okay.
this is this is something you can break down in so many different segments.
Yes, definitely. And
It talks about
I just wanted you to come on to give your personal testimony for young moms and people that's coming from households similar as yourself, athletes.
let me just put this out there especially for single parents. My mom was tough. One thing I said about my mom, all her kids has college degrees, except for one. But one thing about my mom, she was a stickler for education. You know that, and I know that.
Yep, she
You were
was.
gonna go to school. Not only you gonna go to school, you gonna bring home good grades. Now I would commend my mom for that. She was a hard worker, but she was a zero tolerance mom when it came to education. you wasn't, I mean, especially me, because she always respected me because I was the smartest of the kids. But Donna was smarter than I was. Donna made the second highest on the SAT in this old school. That's how smart Donna
Wow.
was. Yeah, Donna was real smart. But my mom was a real stickler for education. And she didn't, and we had that agreement. If you don't get good grades, you can't play football. I mean, it was just that simple. And I had, you know me, I had to help out around the house. You know, she had things I had to do when I was there. But she was tough. But she was tough in a lot of good ways also.
Exactly. And for moms with athletes in school, what would you recommend to them that they keep an extra eye on with their um, children going
I
into
think
sports
extra activities
outside of what they're doing?
outside of what they're doing. Yeah,
Hmm.
you know what they're around. The social media stuff. You
How
know,
important is social media?
social media is huge.
Hmm.
It is huge. It's a lot of beef going on social media.
Hmm.
It is so huge. Uh, Check their rooms.
Right.
I would check their room, make sure. I mean, you know, my mama had a rule. You know, it's my house. I can go anywhere that I want to.
Hmm.
Check their rooms. Make sure that they don't have things you know you didn't buy.
Hmm.
You know, a
Because
lot of
that's an
times
indication, right? That somebody,
it's right there.
right.
Where you get this extra money from? What are you doing
Hmm.
outside the home that you getting this extra money from? And because a lot of times, you know, they target these older drug dealers. They target these young boys, you know, with the accessories, you know, the nice tennis shoes and
Yes. Hmm.
the clothes and stuff. And they know one thing: if they get busted with a couple grams of cocaine or weed or something, they go into the detention center and come back and go back home.
Hmm.
They already know underage, you know, you can get away with stuff that an adult can't get away with
Hmm.
until you get 18, and then it become a part of your record. So
Right.
they recruit these kids, especially. I used to say the boys,
Hmm.
but they're recruiting girls now bigger than boys.
Right. Because girls love fancy things too.
You better believe
Hmm.
that. The nice rings, the nice hairdos, you
Hmm.
know, the hair, get my hair done, nails done, everything done.
Yeah.
They're recruiting these young
Yeah.
girls. It's just a different world we live in. If you
Hmm.
and I just say this and take this seriously. If you gonna be a parent, if you, I mean, I know sometimes accidents happen. You know, you find yourself in that situation. But I would tell any young person, any moms that got young girls, young daughters who, you know, maybe already attractive and boys are hitting on this stuff. And you know, you got to really understand that parental and being a parent is serious business and it's serious work. I did not want to have kids, just a bunch of kids about everybody. I didn't want, my dad did that. I didn't want to be like my dad in that instance. I wanted to make sure when I had kids, I was ready to have kids. Because having kids, a part of you is a part of your life is going to be taken away. There's a responsibility that comes along with it. And the responsibility is yours. You know, don't leave it up to your mom. Don't leave it up to the grandma. I was just blessed to have those instances. If you got them, good. But if you do, good. But I
Hmm.
would say being a parent is nowadays you have got to be on top of stuff because it is so much stuff out here in the world today, and
Hmm.
there's so many things that's trying to captivate our young people. I mean, they just,
Yes.
I mean, especially our young black kids, man. You know,
Hmm.
and I get it. They won't find things. I get it. I do get it. You see nice stuff. You want nice stuff.
Hmm.
But there's a book I would ask parents to read. It's called Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman.
Most intelligent.
Emotional Intelligence.
Emotional intelligent. Okay, I'm
Emotional
gonna get that
Intelligence.
and post it. Okay.
That is an excellent book for young moms to read. And it just talked about some of the core characteristics of just why we so emotionally can get drug into things, why we so impulsive, why we so reactive.
Oh, he disappeared. Hi. Oh, that was really getting good. Let's bring him back in, Glenn, so we can wrap up. I'm not sure where he went, but he was giving us some gems there. So just bear with us. We're going to be ending this in a few minutes. As soon as Glenn comes back on, we're going to wrap up. So please, please, please do not go away. Do not go away. He will be back in a moment. Oh. Bear with us. We were getting there, almost a full solid hour without a tech glitch. And this happens. So when he comes back on, we will resume. So please stay with us. But I hope that you are getting some valuable insight on what this platform is trying to convey.